can do. Ooh, I will lift him higher, higher, yeah, higher. I will lift him up. My God can do and I'm not. Oh, I will lift him up. Higher, higher, yeah, higher. I will lift him up. My God can do and I'm not. I will lift him up. Higher, higher, yeah, higher. I will lift him up. My God can do and I'm not. Oh, I will lift him up. Higher, higher, yeah, higher. I will lift him up. My God can do and I'm not. You can do what no man can do. What to say? It's just a fact. No other God, no other God besides you, Jesus. Your word is so strong, it moves the mountain. Able God, you are faithful God. You are worthy of my praise. You will do, you will do, you will do, you will do, you will do. You will do what no man can do. I will lift him higher, higher, yeah, higher. I will lift him up. My God can do and no man. Oh, I will lift him up. Higher, higher, yeah, higher. I will lift him up. My God can do and no man can do. Nothing else can take your place. No one else can take your place. What you say you will do, that is what you will do. No one can change your place. No one can change your power. From age to age, you're still the same. From day to day, you are still the same. From Monday to Sunday, you remain the same. Oh God, you will do what no man can do. My God can heal any sickness, oh. My God can heal anybody, yeah. My God can do any miracle. Yeah. My God can do what no man can do. Ooh, I will lift him up. Higher, higher, yeah, higher. I will lift him up. My God can do what no man can do. Oh, I will lift him up. Higher, higher, yeah, higher. I will lift him up. My God can do what no man can do.
Good evening, folks. Welcome. I'm Alfonso Ziensot of the Liberia Public Radio and Lpr-Tv. We want to welcome our viewers and listeners across the globe. Thank you. Good morning, Liberia. Good evening, USA. Good morning, Australia and the rest of the world, Europe. Welcome. This is the Liberia Public Radio, LPR.
I love to GP.
Okay, folks, we want to welcome all of our viewers and listeners across the globe. I'm Alfonso Ziensot of the Liberia Public Radio and Lpr-Tv. We want to welcome you to this program here. What a beautiful Friday. Thank God it's Friday. Just do us a favor if you're just joining us, share this podcast as we are about to discuss national issue, the aftermath, what went wrong, and how we got to this point here. These are the faces, they were the faces of the campaign in Lofa. And what went wrong? The strategy was not lacking. All of the political pundits, including all of us, we were making some sort of educated guess, and the ball drops finally today. I want to be having my best of political analysts, contributors of the Liberia Public Radio, and you yourself. We're going to be here to have this conversation here this evening. So stay tuned. Do us a favor, just hit the share button, and we will talk about it. It's just like an obituary. It's just like an obituary announcement So let's have a conversation, and we will see what happens, who kicked the can down the road, and why it happens the way it happened. Politicians, that's who they are. Was that political correctness, a lack of focus, lack of strategy? Is that led to where we get this point here? Well, my team of analysts and contributors of the Liberia Public Radio, they're all here. And guess what? You yourself will also form part of the conversation. I'm Alfonso Z, and so let's get the ball rolling. Good evening, good morning to Liberia, and good evening to the rest of the world. What is important now is the aftermath. What went wrong? The faces that represent put their political career on the line. What is happening inside? Was there anything called war room? This is Alfonso Take. We want to welcome our viewers and listeners across the globe. Thank you for sharing to your evening with us here. And I believe me, we're going to have a good conversation here. Thank you so much for being here. So the dust settled down finally today from the nation's capital of the Republic of Liberia in the consequential elections where all of the politicians in Liberia from the city center, from the capital, temporarily decided to get shuttled in Lofa County for what appears to be the final battle in a bid to go to Capitol Hill. There were two candidates involved, but because of lack of strategy from sources and people that we have talked to, and it is glaring from what we are saying, it was not about this individual. The campaign itself, the message was removed from out of the picture. What is responsible for that? Why did it? What the date? Who is to be held responsible? Morning tide, the strategy. Lack of communication skill, all of that factor in. Now we are in the aftermath, which are considered as a jawbone exercise, because we want to be talking about it. There was a complete right of now the winner declared by the election commission, the institutions on the Constitution of the Republic of Liberia handles all elections related matters. That's the National Election Commission. Let's give you a take how it started or this morning. We all glued to our network inside, outside, and see how it looks like. Let's take a look, and I will be right back. Courtesy of our sister network television, by the way. Let's give them that credit. And let me bring in our senior contributor. He's also, I want to see him witnessing the thing here live. Let's see, there's going to be a change in tone here. Mr. Seze is based in Minnesota, is contributing here, giving back to the community. Let me bring him here. I can't afford leaving him back here. The laborer is on the run, so we'll listen to this. And let me remove this tick here. And
will address his press conference. Chairperson, the meeting.
Madam Co-Chair and fellow commissioners, fellow Liberians, partners of NEC, members of the press, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Welcome again to the headquarters of the National Elections Commission. Today's press conference is in continuation of the announcement of results from the 28th June 2022 senatorial by-election in Lofa County. Before proceeding to the reading of the results, our attention has been drawn to attempts by some to misinform the public with fake reports. Suffice it to say that those fake reports do not represent the official results. The election process is such that the agents of the candidates and independent observers are at the polls from the start through the counting of the votes. After the counting of the votes at each polling place, the results are recorded on a carbon copy document known as the record of the count, which has 5 pages. The information that is written on the top page appears on all of the bottom pages. Party agents sign the record of the count, and one copy each is given to the two agents of the candidates that obtain the first and second highest votes. A copy of the count is then pasted on the wall for public viewing. One is placed in the ballot box while the original is placed in the tamper-evident envelope known as T3. The original of the records of the counts are taken to the magisterial office for tally, where they are opened in the presence of party agents and independent observers present for the electronic tabulation of the results. The tally results are then transmitted to NEC headquarters for public announcement. Hence, any person who believes that the official results are different from what he or she has can avail him or herself of the legal process in keeping with Article 83C of the Liberian Constitution. All of the records of the count and the tallied results are a matter of public record, and we will make them available for journalists who are interested in viewing them. And now the results. As you will recall, of the 454 polling places in Lofa County, the NEC on 30 June 2022 reported the tally results of 381, constituting 83.92%. We are pleased to announce that since yesterday's conference, the tally team has tallied the results from the remaining 73 polling places, thus constituting 100%. So I will now read the results. "454 polling places. Of 454 polling places, constituting 100%. Candidates: Cyrus Momo Tanukoli, Independent. Votes obtained: 5,687, constituting 9.42%. Fofana Mariamu Beye, Independent. Votes obtained: 6,010, constituting 9.95%. Jala Joseph Bato, Independent. Votes obtained: 22,019, constituting 36.46%. Kotemai Galakbai W, UP. Votes obtained: 21,229, constituting 35.15%. Kupi Sumo G, PUP. Votes obtained: 2,828, constituting 4.68%. And Sama George Bear, Independent. Votes obtained: 2,621, constituting 4.34%.
The globe. That's how the board drops today in the nation capital, Republic of Liberia, by the chief presider, the one who is responsible to conduct in and out as long as election to relate. Lassana Brown, the elected Lassana Brown, giving out the official. That's the official result. And so, statement finished. But it was quite interesting. I listened to that live press conference today, and I know most of you do. But let me be a little bit magnanimous here. Let me put like big English, all right? So let me bring in Sister there from the beautiful Minneapolis. Man, I love those trees. What's going on? Sister, good evening and welcome.
Hey, how you doing, Mr. So? Nice being on.
Yes.
Uh,
Look,
you
all
made,
the
you
crazy.
made me hurry up from a family event just to come on this.
Oh
I
man,
mean,
I'm sorry, but I guess the family said no to the what you brought to this table here. So we're gonna look. We've been having this conversation for days and days and days. Speculation, uh, guess gain, apprehensions, and everything being put to a rest. The chairpersons of the commission took the stage and spoke to the world, not just on Elabra. Says this is where we are. Now the question here is what went wrong? How this happened? Why did somebody lose sight of this issue? And I kind of try to tweet this around here, and it's deliberate why I did not put one of the challenger there, because it seems to me, and I could be wrong, that's my own interpretation, he was not saying as the candidate. It was surrounding these individual. The guy up there with the suit with the pen on his chest, former Vice President Joseph Boyka. The guy down there with a cream suit, Yeke Kaluba, Darrell's DeLong. I didn't put ball charge there because whatever it is. And then Tomo Fala, survivor the fit here. And the man wearing the cardboard hat. He's not from Texas though. I don't know where he took that cardboard hat, where he
as a bandy cowboy.
I don't know where he took that cardboard and the cardboard how he carried the Councilor Jala. But that's it's interesting. And let me just say this here because I'm going to sound a little bit ridiculous here and say something. The CDC, the oppositions, and all of these things we get war room. Guess what? What they had was palm wine room, not war room. Palm wine room. They were drinking palm wine. Nothing, damn nothing they have. I'm pissed because the deceit of these politicians and they always play on the mind. And the think campaign can be conducted on the social media. Yes, it does. But there's a strategic aspect of it. They don't have a war room. You can't tell us. Last time, the chairperson of the commission, they didn't even tell us how many percent voted. So where was the war room that they claim to have? We have this number, our people here, where the votes were coming from. How many percent voted in Calhoun? In Foya, those places. When you have those numbers and you identify your target point, then you say, I have this. We're now getting to know the opposition, I would say deliberately, on purpose, deserted some of those places, they should have focused. And what they did was almost like, it reminds me about John Bear. John Bear used to be the former Minister of Sport Minister of Sport, Republic of Liberia during the Samuel Doe. There was a crucial game, Lone Star and Black Star was supposed to play. And we know what happened. The president said, do anything you can. Lone Star, Liberia needs the game in order to go to the thing. And you know what he told the president? He told the match official after the game. That's not Walmart. They're not laws to be laid away. They say do anything you say after the game. So the people, the match official say, okay. But to cut my matter short, you listened to the press briefing today?
I did.
Why are you scratching your head, Sissy?
Well, there is a lot in there. But first thing first, congratulations to Councilor Jala as being pronounced as the official winner, Senator of Lofa County. As a son of Lofa County, I want to say congratulations. Congratulations to everybody who ran and the peaceful manner in which things were handled, because we know there were several instances where things could have gone wrong, but the people of Lofa remain peaceful. And I want to say congratulations again to the Honorable Councilor Joseph Jala, Senator-elect. Now, having said that, there are still murmurings in the UP circles about, first of all, the margin of the victory and whether there should be a recount and all of the other things. I want to sound a caution that the Unity Party does have a right to seek and to know that the elections were free, fair, and credible.
Okay,
But
yeah, hold on here. We on the aftermath. I want to take you to your own county now. Let us hear the latest that is coming out of there. Let's go to this number here. Our man is standing by here. Okay, Thomas, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. So, and good morning to the entire team.
Okay. Good morning, folks in Radio Land. When after the process, we stay on the ground to see, to hear from those that participated in the process, those who have it at stake, and that's what our guy is there. Thomas Yancey is in the provincial senate of Vanyamanta, Lofa County. Thomas, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, sir. Good morning to everyone following.
Okay, so finally the board drops. Let's hear from you. You are in Lofa. What the people are talking now? What are they saying? What is the latest? The Election Commission has announced the official result, declaring Councillor Jala as the senator, the next senator of Lofa County. What are you hearing from Vanyamans, outside of Vanyamans and other places?
Well, across Lofa County, a lot of supporters and all of those that actually supported the Unity Party candidate, Galakpai Wozi Kotimen, they are across Lofa County arguing and celebrating that they have won the election. And in fact, NEC will take 15 days to go through the process before certificating the senator-elect according to the result that came out earlier on from NEC. So a lot of Lofians, especially the supporters of the Unity Party, they are saying, yes, their candidate won. Upper Lofa, precisely, Upper Lofa result is very clear, but the result from Lower Lofa was tampered with by the magistrate of Lower Lofa, Magistrate Sally. He said his result was tampered with. They got all of their results from the various centers. All of those papers that came out from the various centers, from their agents, they calculated all, and the number they got is that the number now was announced by NEC. So they are saying the numbers were tampered with within the tally room in Lower Lofa. So that's the argument right now. The PRO of Unity Party, the PRO, Edmond Koluba Johnson, was just on the Voice of Lofa Radio just yesterday evening talking about they are the one that will be certificated by NEC on grounds that they've done with their calculation, all the tally, all of the results from their agents. They are the winner of this by-election. So they're going to be certificated pretty soon by NEC. So that's the argument across Lofa County now. And on Bogole stations across Lofa now, that's the argument all around that, hey, Unity Party won this by-election. So NEC should do due diligence by certificating them as winner of the just ended by-election in Lofa County.
So let's get it right here. You are in Lofa. There are a lot of information we are getting. All of these parties that participated in the process, were there representations on the part of the candidates? The party that were all represented. Can you confirm to that? Because we are hearing there are some other center. We're hearing there are some other center where Unity Party did not send representatives, so that itself is leaves vulnerability. How can you confirm that? How true is this information, first and foremost?
The first thing, like I told you the first day, the only argument so far that was raised in the tally room was, hey, the PO signed, that's the presiding officer signed, and then one of the party observers, the first two, the first winner and the second winner at the Puri Center, we actually signed, the two of them we signed, including the PO makes it 3. So the only argument that was raised in the tally room was that the PO signed and one of the winners signed, the other person didn't sign. So that was the argument raised earlier on. Now this is coming up. Some are saying the result they got, the capital they got from their agents, their party agents brought in is different from the result from the tally room. So that's the argument right now. The result from the field and the result from the tally room is different from lower Lofa. That is the argument.
So talking about relative to that argument, is it being confirmed by observers? Because before submissions, I believe there will be a consensus. Everybody going to look take a review. They will look at it, and these individuals who are representing their political institutions or party, they will sign before final submission. Was that done, or people just unilaterally and or NEC, for example, just decided to send that? Was that a case? What are you hearing relative to that?
No, the problem is all of the centers were actually represented by party agents, right? Mm-hmm. So now the argument that was raised, the magistrate actually clarified that at times the party agent may feel reluctant because he didn't win. He actually expected to come first, and then he came second. So at times they feel reluctant of signing. At times they may come first, but they will feel overwhelmed, very happy. They may not sign and leave the center with happiness to go celebrate with their fellow partisans and so on. So that is the issue right now. So they are saying yes. The other stuff was signed by under the PO.
Let her have fun with us. Sister, don't let her enjoy herself. She wants to know what's going on in Lofa. Go ahead, Thomas. Thomas, go ahead.
Okay, so I was saying the argument that was raised earlier on was why as a matter of fact, per law, the first winner and the second winner per center should sign, right? The two of them should sign, including the PO. So the PO makes it 3. But some of the centers, you see under the PO sign and one party agent sign. That's how it is. So that's the argument. They are saying while the papers come from the various centers, they have record on the papers that were brought from the field from NEC, signed by their agents, but then the record from the tally room is quite different.
It's quite
yes.
different.
That's the argument now. They are saying for upper Lofa, the result was lower Lofa, that is being supervised by Magistrate Sally. Lower Lofa is being tampered with.
Why lower Lofa? And quickly, why lower Lofa is a bone of contention in this whole thing?
Yeah, because lower Lofa is where Councillor Jala hails from. So they are saying, yes, the magistrate from lower Lofa can be compromised easily because they had problem with him before. So that is the argument from the Unity Party standpoint. From their point, they are raising is that they had problem with him before. He's not trusted and so on. And the problem didn't come from upper Lofa, but his center.
So the issue they had before, is that what being transferred to what is happening now, or what? Or is it based on something of proof they are arguing on?
They are looking at what happened in the past and now. And in fact, they are threatening that the issue will be in court if Honorable Honorable Jala Pato, Rosca Pato Jala will not be certificated until NEC goes through the process, and that's going to be like 15 days from now. They have 15 days to go through the process. He's not going to be certificated because they are raising argument that they are in the league. In fact, 1,000+ margin ahead of Councillor Joseph Pato Jala.
1,000+. So let me ask this question here, because I listened to and I'm going to be bringing in Sissy and Amos George to this. And the question we know is very late in Liberia at this time here. Was here, and I asked this question before. I didn't hear the commissioner talking anything. We just heard the number of precincts, polling places, and all of that. But what I want to know, total registrants, voter in Lofa County. I want to know it should be categorized, it should be itemized from FOIA, from Color Home, from this place, Salaye, all those places. We need to know how many of these voters coming from that. I didn't hear that. Was there any sort of listing to tell people precisely how many persons participated in this process?
That is something that they have not touched on up to now. Look, Upper Lofa starts from electoral district number 4. That is Vonjema and Kwadubone. And you have Zozo and Salaye. All of those places are part of Upper Lofa. Then Lower Lofa starts from electoral district number 3. You have district 2, Vahun, and district 1, Foya.
Okay. Let me go to...
They are coming out with results, but then they are not telling us how many persons participated in the entire process and so on. We already know how many registered voters we have, and then the argument was raised, the issue of replacement of damaged card, only 2 places, NEC office in Vonjema, NEC office in Kolahun, meaning you got to come from Vahun, Kawe, Kolahun, you got to come from Salah, you can't wait Vonjema before you replace the damaged card. And some people were denied because they came with their cards damaged, that they could not yet recognize anything, but the numbers were there, but they didn't pay attention to that. They said, hey, we cannot accept this card. All of those things happen. So all of those things are bringing out problem as well.
Okay. You know, they get a slang there, few days, they think we're stupid, we're not stupid. They're stupid because they went into a process without validating the process. So they're stupid. I am not stupid. Some of us not stupid. Those who participated in this process without validating, and they just think they sit on Facebook, they are genius, the lack of strategy, the lack of plenty of things. You're stupid. We're not stupid. Let me go to Sese here, and maybe he has his question here.
My man, I hope that I'm a lot of kind of people you're talking to, but
I mean, whoever those.
I know, man, I'm just joking. But my brother, thank you for. I mean, you've been doing a very good work in Lofa. That I must commend you. So what I'm understanding, I just need a clarity from you. What I'm understanding from you and what I think I understood from the press conference is that NEC has process in place that, if carried out, would take care of all of this, unnecessary bickering about trust in the election process. Because I heard Developper Lasana Brown saying that there are 5 copies and the 2 top vote getters get one, the representative get 1 copy each. There's 1 copy put in the envelope and sealed up and sent with the ballot. There's 1 poster at the site. And so if you have all of that, that is enough transparency, right? So if they were going exactly with everything as they set up, then there should be no reason why one group will have a different number and another group have a different number. So what I'm understanding is that somehow, some way, people are saying that the process was not followed through. Is that the point you're making? That that's the Unity Party's bone of contention, that the process was not carried out, and therefore they see that as a reason to suspect that there was some fraud.
Okay, let me go back to it.
What happens in the tally room is that they will call, if the center is let me just use my hometown, Pakamen. They will tell you Pakamen, and no, Pakamen is a precinct. They have like 2-3 voting centers within a precinct. So they will tell you Pakamen putting center 1. They will call a figure. They will tell you, Kennedy A has so and so. Then the clerk will tap in a number, clack, clack, clack. Kennedy this, God this, they tap it in, clack, clack, clack. How it works here. That's how we observe it from the tally room. They just read out the figure from what they have in their hands. They tap it in and print it out and share copy on everyone in the tally room. How it works.
All right, thank you. And before that, though, as they are counting the vote, because I've seen at least some news clips as they are counting the vote. Almost every candidate has a representative in there, and they say, yeah, there's 1 vote for candidate B, there's 1 vote for candidate C, and everybody see that. So what is the process? Is there any process to make a party candidates representative that refuse to sign? Is there any process to make them sign, or to have people account for the fact that they refuse to sign? Because I see this as one of the problems right now that the Unity Party is raising.
The NEC, in fact, the magistrate, like I said, the magistrate said that isn't a problem. That isn't a problem because if the other party agent, if the party agent refuses to sign apparently the party agents were wormed or sighed about the process, expecting to come number one, but coming number two, they may not feel comfortable to sign. So there's now an issue that doesn't make it invalid or so, meaning that particular center is okay. At least the PO signed and one person signed. That's what the magistrate said. So that was the argument, and the magistrate said that and convinced the people, and everybody accepted. The party agents that were in the tally room, all of them accepted what he said. So we continue with the process.
So let me ask you before I go to Pat George, and this is where they sort of miss, and that's what I think people lose focus of this thing here. So let me ask you, prior to the pronouncement of all of this, was there any official statement by the local leaders on the part of a unity party to say, hey, where there's a smoke, potentially there's a fire? I know it just didn't breathe overnight. Was there any press conference? Was there any statement released in Lofa, not necessarily from Monrovia or subsequently to Monrovia, to have a reservations of the process in that particular local? Was there any reservations or any press conference called by the local Unity Party folks in that area regarding this incident?
Yes, sir. I think I told you the last time. Sakala Nimale is the representative of Electoral District number 1. That is Foya District, where Ambassador Joseph Yimobaka is from, right? And he is a Unity partisan. He came out of a press release. He called it on the supporters and so on, having them to know that we are in the lead, but he didn't say we win. But he said all of the results from the various centers that they have gathered, and they have their own IT team set up, they're done with the calculations and so on. In fact, they are in the lead, meaning they are comfortably seated to be pronounced as winner. He came up with that after Thomas Farah went on his radio to pronounce that yes, they have won the election because all of their agents from the field came with the result, and they had their own RT people pretty seated to work on all of those papers, and they calculated, they got their result that yes, they are winners. That brought a serious problem in Foya. And then today, there's a serious issue in Lofa too with regards to the chief administrator of the county, the county superintendent, right? He came up, the county superintendent actually made a remark that, hey, Unity Party was whipped. That is the reason Joseph Yumabwaka escaped from the county using a route of a Sierra to go to Monrovia. You know, normally at
hold on 1
Joseph
second.
Bwaka.
Hold on 1 second. Are you saying the former vice president used by the way of Sierra Leone to go to Monrovia?
Yeah, that was the remark made by the county superintendent Kamba, William Tamakama, saying because he is a sedition though, so he said, hey, it's because of the defeat, the shame that Joseph Bwaka has no control over Lofa County any longer. The county have been turned over to the CDC. That is why, because of the shame, he used the route of a Sierra Leone to escape to Monrovia because of shame. So there's an argument all around Lofa that, oh, he is the chief administrator, he shouldn't have gone that route. Other people can come up with all of those things, but he's for everybody because he is the superintendent. He shouldn't have said that. So that is another argument all around in the various intellectual centers, on social media, including the various radio stations as well.
Okay, let me go to Amos George. I know it's late. Amos George, are you there?
Yeah.
Do you have a question?
Yeah. Sister, how you doing?
We're not hearing you, Amos.
Hi. Can you hear me?
Hello? I'm hearing you. I can hear you, Mr. George.
I'm not hearing.
Well, then, that you know.
Yeah, I'm not getting you too.
Amos, can you look at your microphone, please?
Yeah. My mic is on.
Are you hearing us, Sissy?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Huh?
Yeah, I'm hearing you, Mr. So.
Wow, I'm not hearing you, Sissy, now too.
You see that?
Hold on 1 second. Okay, are you there?
Yes, can you hear me now?
Yeah, okay, good. Yeah.
Okay. The first question I want to ask, did the Unity Party had did the Unity Party have representatives at all the polling stations in Lofa County? That's the first question.
Oh yeah, according to the Unity Party, he said they had representatives to all of the centers in Lofa County, all of the centers across Lofa County. They had party agents there. They had their representative all around.
Okay. But, anyway, but this one you're not. I don't think it's for you to answer. It go back to the PO, the presiding officer, and also the partisan of the various political parties. He said that someone can be rejoicing and don't sign. Would that make that paper legitimate? If somebody representing a party doesn't sign and he say because the person was rejoicing so they didn't sign, is that a legitimate excuse for such election? Well, how do you know that the person was rejoicing? That means he saw the person. Why he couldn't call the person to come and say, hey, sign it before you leave? Why would he make such a statement? You don't think that statement will have some implication?
Go ahead, Thomas.
Yeah, like I said, he actually made a statement. He said, look, the tally room is not place for argument, but these things have been happening over the time, years and years. They've been happening. At times, people are like very not happy. They don't sign. Some people are overwhelmed with the result. They will go out to celebrate with some of their supporters and fans. They may not sign because of the happiness. It was actually raised by the former representative candidate, Sekou Brahima Kolek. Like I said in the other report, Sekou Brahima Kolek was the first person that raised that argument in Lofa, and they call all of their coalition, all of the tally centers, because there was 2 tally centers in Upper Lofa, 2 tally centers in Lower Lofa. So the only clarity of that from the magistrate. The magistrate said, oh, the person may feel bad of the result, though they come second. What they've been expecting is not what they are seeing. So they may feel too sad. Sometimes they walk out while everyone's sunny, or the person may be too happy with the result, and they may go out to celebrate with their friends and forget about signing. That was just a justification. So, gentlemen, I'm begging you, these things been happening over and over, not just today. So accept it, this is valid, and let's work with it. That was just what she said.
So
okay, but that's why we talk about the war room. When this thing was happening, the representative of those political parties or the Unity Party, did anybody call the candidate to say, hey, or party chairman to say, hey, this is what is going on here. What do you think we should advise? Did anybody make any phone call to any of the party official that you know of?
No one called. Only the Unity Party executives within the country, including the PRO Edmond Koluba Johnson, that also raising the issue on the local radio stations in Lofa County. He's also actually raising serious argument on that, and he keeps saying that yes, with all of the records from the few, they are the winner and they're going to be certificated. Today we also had at the headquarters of the office of Councillor Joseph Pato Jala. Today there was a huge celebration, and then he said, no, they are celebrating for us because we have won and will be certificated. That is why they are celebrating for us.
Okay. So
it's a kind of drama, it's a kind of drama here in Lofa.
Okay, before we let you go, I know you're extremely late in Liberia, in Lofa. What are you hearing from Foya? Foya has been the epic center of this whole thing and other places. What are you gathering from those places as well?
Well, Foya, Foya is a very hot zone. So everyone like operating on their link and so on. Foya, the securities are still there. The security system is still tight. So everyone like working on their link. And, a lot of people have come in fight trying to go to Foya to vocally react to what the superintendent said by Joe Bucker using the route of selling because of shame, because he hails from Foya, so he's in Foya presently. And the county information officer, Johnson Dupla, also posted the same thing that, oh, because of shame, that is why Joseph Boga used the route of 7 million to escape, because Foya is just 7 million. Very next door. Normally, Joseph Boga uses that route to go to Monrovia, to use from Monrovia to Lofa. He often uses that route, but this time they are saying it is because of shame he narrowly used that route to escape.
Okay. Is there anything that we need to know from inside Lofa relative to what are the ordinary Lofians, people in the street? What are they? Do they care about what is ongoing on? What is their fear? What is their apprehensions? Do you know? What are they saying? Are they talking about it, or just the politicians?
Citizens across Lofa County has actually pushing the message of peace, because Bogota are saying Lofa is the country that we have. If anything sparks up right now, it's not going to be easy, because we are all interrelated. You have your family right here, Guinea. You have family in Sierra Leone. If you harm me now because of politics, my family may come from right across the water, Guinea or Sierra Leone. That's going to cause a problem across the whole country, because the country, if it starts from Lofa, it's not only going to stop in Lofa, it will push up to other countries, because you have Bapolu right here, you have Bon County and other countries somewhere around us here. So Bogoden, the people, especially the traditional people, though Bogoden are actually against a statement made by the superintendent, by saying because they call Joseph Imo Boakai as the grand uncle of the land, that is Lofa County. So if anyone utter a word or says anything negative about Boakai, the traditional people takes it very serious and so on. So they are saying, yes, we should maintain a peace, and they actually rebuke the statement that the superintendent made, that he should never say, as the chief administrator of the county, Joseph Boga is the grand uncle of the land, and so on. However, things are still under control. The message of peace is being preached across Lofa County to maintain the fragile peace that we are now enjoying.
Okay, Thomas, our man Thomas Yanse, based in the provincial city of Vanyamant, Lofa County, Republic of Liberia, the aftermath of Lofa, Lpr inside. Stay tuned, we'll be right back. Okay, gentlemen, welcome to the show. Now, this is how we do it. We try to go inside. After the process, don't just leave. Let somebody be on the ground to bring you up to speed what is happening. Okay, let's first have a talking point here. I listened to the chair, like everyone out there as well. But there were two things that I claimed my attention by Chair Las Deliated Brandt Lasana. Whoever believes the result is different from the result that we have, there is a legal process. Journalists who want the result or whatever, to paraphrasing, not exactly what she's saying, they can have it. But what is more concerning to me here is this. This here, gentlemen, it seems to be like a self-indictment, lack of confidence in the process you yourself executed. I don't think that's where I don't think the use of this word being deployed here, I think it's just terrible. Lack of effective communication skills, and she should know better. She's a journalist. You can't have a process, you can't conduct a process here, and the process you yourself presided over as head of the commission. Every magistrate sent out that proxy the affairs of the commission. So you can't question to your own. Let the people question it. They have the right to question. It's obvious. People will always have they will always question the authenticity of these sort of consequential election. But for the chair, I'm wondering why she decided to use this word. Anybody who believes the one that we have here is different, there's take a legal process. It's like a self-indictment. And two, the folks that even participated in the process, no strategy, nothing. They profess that they know it, but they don't know key, nothing. They put their people on Facebook, and they think that they could effectively execute. You use Facebook to be strategic and have a target point. So what a war room they have? And like I said, that part one room they had, they don't have war room because there is no data, there is no record to tell me that this is the number of votes coming from Foya. This is a number of votes coming from Salaye. This is a number of votes coming from Kolahun, to break them down, for which it will become strategic, and you're going to deploy, you're going to have a foot soldiers, and that it will be a centered. It will be a center. But what it did on the other side, this is a whole crazy thing here, and I'm trying to get the inner part of it now. CDC used her tactics, distracted these people, the opposition. They call the opposition, they are so weak, and they never had a strategy, no contingency plan as well. They all went to Foya. They all went to Foya and deserted the other places. By indication, I'm saying this to say it from the images that we saw. Yeke Koluba, Daros Delon, Bo Charles, there was no reason for them to be jogging in those places they were jogging. If they had strategy, they were in good numbers, they were deployed. Bo Charles were going to Kolahun, Yeke Koluba who are going to the regions that will understand his language, where the support base, if they want to chip into. But other than they decided to get together. Omen Boyka, I believe he was also in Foya, because Foya, I don't know whether that's a new capital of Vanyaman, that man from Lofa would tell us here. And you have Tomofala and the other people there, they drove them there, and who knows, they were sneaking their people. But why would these people even enter a process with a sort of inconclusive method? We don't know how many percent voted. So how can you even come to say this is who were their tiger point? So let me bring in Sisse here. Sisse.
Yes, sir.
This is a jawbone exercise that we are on now. I don't know what's gonna come next. Everybody's screwed up. Commissions, from what I listened today with Vested Mail, and whoever believes, take a legal process. You undermine your own process that you feel that you think is transparent. So why will you help to facilitate somebody to take a legal process, legal matter against you?
But I think Mr. So will take a different stance on that. I think to her defense, though, I think she was kind of in a roundabout way responding to the many pronouncements that have been made on social media and on radio stations by candidates and political parties that they had won. And I think she was trying to lay the point that, well, we as NEC are seeing one winner, and if other people who have been announcing on Facebook and other places feel like they also won, then there is a process, and the process is not complete. You can still go to court. But having said that,
before you go that, but she was kind of redundant in that, because
I know, but I think
her intro is spelled out. It was crystal clear. Don't mind the people. It's fake news. It's
right.
Public.
I agree that was an overkill, but I'm just saying that she was kind of responding, because if you listen, even the representative Thomas Fala went on air on his own radio station announcing he was a winner, and all the things that happened in Lofa County, Darius DeLon, and everybody else posting other places, so you can imagine the pressure to kind of respond to that. But I agree that was an overkill, but I just wanted to lay it in a right frame. But the other piece though is that, so I'm looking at an NEC website right now, and I'm looking at the results. What NEC did is that they posted the results based on electoral districts, right? So they have 5 districts results posted. They are not categorized by precinct or anything. It's just district number 1. Here is the total for each of the candidate. District number 2. Here is the total for each of the candidate. And I think that makes it really difficult for people who want to audit the election results, because if you're just posting aggregates online and I have no way of looking to see say precinct number 1 in electoral district number 1, and we have a problem that, like the reporter was saying, that they're having problems with certain precincts in Upper Lofa. Well, if you go and everything is just aggregated that way and giving you the sum total, it makes it really difficult. The last piece is, I think, we Liberians create unnecessary crises. You know, if all of the party representatives, the two highest vote getters representatives were getting those tally sheets, then everybody should be able to just go in their various rooms, war room, or I will adapt your point on the power room, and do simple arithmetic and determine what did we lose or did we not lose? Or the way NEC has it right now with the electoral district listed, you just go and combine all of your tally sheets from each electoral district and see if they match with what the NEC has posted. If they don't match, then you go and seek redress through the process, either through NEC before going to the court system. So I think people are just creating halabaloo over nothing, because if you have the tally sheets, then it's easy. You have the data that you can be able to use to reconcile what NEC have posted.
Do you think the poor have any data in the first place?
Well, then that would be on them, because if you're going to go to complain that NEC cheated your candidate, then you don't have any.
You're going to create circumstantial evidence.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So you have to bring the data. If you can bring facts, then nobody's going to hear you out.
What time?
You know, it's a waste of time. That's the reason I keep saying that we are fond of creating crises where there is no need for crisis, because this thing is just simple arithmetic. Just collect all the tally sheets and add them up and see if they match what NEC is reporting. Simple.
Okay, Amos Joyce.
Yeah.
I like to take the scientific route. Do you think we know for NEC now? We know because I didn't tell us. NEC is the they are the producer. They are the one to reveal to us. Their number is the number that I'm going to argue on, because they presided over the process. They conducted the process. They should tell her exactly. If NEC cannot do that, how can Alfonso So Amos George bring a circumstantial or evidence, or make a case to say this is the people? And then the question becomes, where do you get this from?
Well, it's mathematics, but I think we are on record, Professor Zawul and myself, from the day this woman was nominated. We said that she was not capable. Now, we didn't say that she's not educated. Let me clarify that, because people could do misquote people. Say she's educated, but we say she was not capable to run that institution. And we are seeing it election after election. The last election, Grand Jada ballot box never reached. It got missing. Sometimes never got a ballot box. So today we're seeing the same thing, not the same thing, but something else playing out. Because what they're doing there is that they're not giving you a breakdown from this polling center, polling vote number 1. This is the vote that we got. This is the total vote. Invalid vote from this place. It's not there. They just bundle it and send it. So these are the things. And on the other hand, how can Unity Party come to challenge the results? You heard our correspondent say that some of the tally sheet, they didn't sign it. Now, if you did not sign that tally sheet, how can you say that figure was not right?
How a lender in the hands of these people?
So you have to, you say, hey, you could sign a protest or call your party, your chairman, and say, hey, this is what is going on. What can we do? Can you get in touch with NET? No, nothing was done. Go on the radio to say it's different thing. But these things must be documented, because these are paper, it's supposed to have a paper trail. They didn't do it. Now, so how will you go now to complain that, oh, I have this tally sheet, our number here is different from what you have there? How did you arrive at that number? Because you people were in the same booth. If the number wasn't right, what did you do? Did you ask the PO or the magistrate? Said no, we just counted this. You got 500, we got 600. How come we got 600? You have 500. So then they can say, hey, Lord, recount. But if none of these things were done, what is the document that you have to challenge the election result, the commission? These are some of the problems we see.
Let's throw the question for the.
But I think, Mr. Soto, before you move on, because I think this is a bone of contention that has to be fixed going into 2023. Because if the election commission is going to say it's okay to excuse somebody from signing a tally sheet simply because they are overwhelmed
They
by
are
the result, then that throws into chaos the authenticity of the result. Because what is to prevent somebody from saying, my man, that's not a result there, that's they went and got a different result, and the person who is leading, who candidate won, is the person who signed it. So what is there for somebody to say that the PO and the political party did not get, in some connection to come up with a different tally sheet that other people, that the other party didn't sign? So both ways, on the parties and the parties that didn't sign it, it's just disrespectful to the electoral process. If your candidate didn't win in that precinct, it doesn't mean the election is over. So you need to sign it. First thing, that's disrespectful. But from NEC, that's supposed to be the referee in this. That is stupidity. Sorry for the language, but that is just, you can. There is no way you can come back and say, yes, this tally sheet is actually valid, and people go, well, why it has one signature? You say, well, the other guy was feeling overwhelmed, so he or she didn't sign it. People are going to be like, well, if that person comes and say, no, I signed the tally sheet and that's not the one you got, or I did not see a tally sheet, how do you then, show yourself to be authentic as a National Election Commission? So I think there has to be ways to fix that going to 2023. As a matter of fact, I think they need to allow all, maybe the first top 5 to sign. So when 4 out of 5 sign and the last person don't sign, we can at least deduce that, well, yeah, maybe this person was just being an idiot and refused to sign. But that is a serious problem.
And I think and that's a very good observation there. And the other part, another puzzle to that is these political institutions, we have said, the lack of integrity. So their representation, people that represent them, of course, lack the same integrity. Because in the first place, these people, when you send it then as a pool washer, there must be a specific mandate. If I'm going there to represent Sisse because Sisse is contesting for the position, yes, I'm not there. I'm there as a watchdog to protect his interests. And they give me this tally sheet. I should keep my freaking eyes open from start to finish. Not every minute and second, like somebody who got a weak bladder and you running in the bathroom and then you come back, oh, what was the number? They're not responsible. They're not going to be responsible to tell you. This is why politics, if you want to be a leader, it comes with maturity. And this is why I say the opposition, even the GOL, this is a complete guess game, no strategy as they were going into this. It was just like a guess game. All right, this thing happened, we're going to win it. They didn't do their due diligence. Now it falls right on their shoulder because you have to educate these people that they are going there and they are going to represent the party, not just only the party, but let's look at the holistic part of it. It's an election, even though it's a Lofa, it's a local area, but these people, when they are elected, they will represent not only Lofa, they will represent the country in terms of legislation, decision making, and all of that. So you don't want to send children who sucking bottle or who wearing diapers. They need to know better and send these people. And that's how these politicians, if you are in a race, you have to look at the pros and cons, have a long discussion. It's not just coming on Facebook and open your wide mouth. You need to be strategic, and that strategic, it comes with massive preparation. That preparation is from the starting to the finishing point, people that you're going to deploy to represent your interests. That did not happen. Now, here we are.
But
I can tell you now, before Emma Joyce can come in, I can tell you now, to make this race here, and that was a wrong calculation on a part of the opposition, to make this race to be a race of Ambassador Boyka simply because he hails from what is place name? Lofa. The character involved is the candidate. You saw all of the influx of all the party leaders, they were going. They went other than getting one place. They just thought it was over. It's almost like the replay of Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump here. Guy came, we say it was all over. By the time we get to know later on, things start changing. It's because these people, they were not strategic. They were not deployed into strategic places. They were going deep into the territory to cut. But what Jala people did, they distracted them from their area and decided to focus and everybody saw Foya to be the safe haven, we all, or whatever it is. So they were all placed there. Here we are now. Amos George.
Yes.
And I think you made a valid point.
I will sound ridiculous tonight,
You
but
always.
I think it will be the real, it will hurt, but it will be the facts. The first thing, Jara, because Jara had participated in election, he knows it. But national elections.
Oh, you say you're going to sound ridiculous, so the light went on you. Okay, well, okay, let's bring him back here.
Yeah. These people supposed to have a team of legal people. They should have deployed their lawyers in that county. That if anything, they can call, hey, this is happening right now. What is the way forward? Nothing. They did no strategy. As you see, they just went sitting down there to drink power. That only guy went there for the break. But here's the thing here.
But for election, you go jog?
Yeah, here's the thing here.
You're joking.
In this election, the United Party is one of the losers in this thing. The CDC is another loser. The ANC is the winner.
Is that because you're ANC, man?
Hold on, let me break it down, Jala. Come on, Jala, you enjoy me. Come on.
Oh, Lord.
You enjoy me. Why am I saying
have
this?
Never been ridiculous on this network, but tonight...
I will break it down for the audience. And Jala will join me. He says will support me.
Now he's seeking for Allah. Go ahead.
No, here's the thing here. Why I'm saying the United Party is a loser, especially Honorable Joseph Yman Boakat. There was no preparation. There was no planning. And if these things are lacking, you cannot execute and win a successful elections. How long Joseph Boakat, Honorable Ambassador Boakat was in Monrovia for? They went there 1 week to election. Where did they go to campaign? Did you see them go in the 5 districts? Did you see them? No. Now,
they deserted Battlefront.
That's what I'm saying. Election is never over until that final ballot is counted. There's no guarantee in it. This is what they did. No structure. They had no structure, nothing in the plan. Second, this man was a former superintendent. Is that I'm right? Former superintendent. He has name recognition in the county. If at all this man had worked those years he served in Lofa County, has served the people, then why he could not be elected? I would tell you then there's a character problem.
That's a valid point.
And Joseph Boakat went and pick him. What was the research that they did to say that this man is viable? He served in the county. He's well known. He's popular. He can be elected. Did they do that?
I'm not sure whether he was that much visible in the process. The broad Darrell Dillon,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeke Koluba left Monrovia. Ama Adekoya said Mada or whatever Unity Party chair. Benana, you were your friend was there, right?
I'm saying if this man was a superintendent of that county, served the people, left a mark, positive, constructive, left his footprint, that the citizens of Lofa County can say when he was spent, this is why he did.
Okay.
This is the development. That's one. He never had anything. And that's why I said the Unity Party is the loser. Why I say CDC? CDC said, hey, we are not putting no candidate in Lofa County. That is the ruling party saying we're not putting no candidate there. Why do you think so? Because they are contaminated. They have a virus. They have a record now. They cannot run on.
What kind of virus is that?
I will call it later on. That they could not do. Jala, all his pronouncement has been independent. The election called him independent. Just say he go in, then they go, maybe some for they go through the field behind, oh, something in Jala. How can CDC say they won the election? When you, the ruling party, fail to put a candidate of your own, someone got to go independent, then you go and jump behind it. And you won't say that.
Your friend Jala, you told us here Jala is your body. Jala is being initiated under the Sakomo tree. You saw it?
Yes, Mr. So, yeah, Mr. So, I know Jala. What I'm saying, he can go on the Sakomo tree until Jala gets on the radio and say, I am now joining CDC. But as far on the election commission roster, he's independent. He's independent. So, that
I want to hear how ANC wins. So I can
Don't worry. ANC is the winner. Alexander Cummings is here in the USA.
The man's trying to win me over. Let me listen to him. How is ANC the winner?
I don't know how you're going to manage that. You two are one man, right?
Oh, yeah.
No, he in between that. He in between. That twin mother, he can go inside. But here's the thing. Having said that about CDC, why I said this. Mr. Cummings said, these people, CDC, the government deprived Lofa County of a sitting senator. Therefore, I will not go to, we will not put a candidate. We are still in solidarity with Bernie Sanders because he was duly elected. So we will not. Second, honor Alexander Cummings' leadership. His leadership. Darrell was elected. Borcha was elected. Cemetery was elected, along with other people. Honor his leadership of the CPP.
So honor Joseph Boyka's leadership, who was elected.
Well, they can speak for itself now.
So let me come in real quick. First thing, success is a child of many parents.
Yeah.
And losers are usually orphans. And so right now,
but the leadership has a bad role to play. So you know that.
No, hold on one second. I'm just trying to say everybody who's claiming to be part of the success of the win, if it holds, of Councilor Joseph Jala, right? But let's be very fair though. The CDC, yes, did not field a candidate in Lofa, but the CDC hedged her bet on a candidate that won. So minimally, they deserve the right to celebrate.
I
don't like it, but that is the fact. Because the CDC put money behind a candidate. They pick a horse and they bet on that horse. That's what they did. And they were playing a kind of a safe game to say, okay, well, if he loses, it's easy for us to say he's not a sedition, and we can walk away with not much burden. And if he wins, we can say, well, we did put our faces out there. And if you look at some of the flyers that were being passed around for Joseph Jala, it had Thomas Fala picture on it. There were seditions that rallied around him, and seditions went down and rallied with him. So he might not have been a CDC candidate on the ballot, but I think CDC absolutely deserves the right to boast and bash and celebrate if Joseph Jala is the leader. It's the winner. That is just a fact. We just got to give it to them. Yes, they were afraid to post a candidate in the elections, but they had to bet on the winner, and that's a fact. The second piece is that yes, the Unity Party kind of dropped the ball in so many places. And like I told you the other day when we were here, Mr. So, I said, if this election had been about the issues, Kalakpa Kotimai would have struggled to make a point, because he had been in leadership in Lofa. He had been a superintendent. There would have been people coming up to hold his feet to the fire, like a Representative Fofana tried to do when she said he was not a team player. Remember that when I told you, I said if he were going to win, they were going to have to come together and do a kumbaya as a caucus, because the caucus saw him as not a team player. If this election were actually about the issues, then you were going to have somebody like Sumoji Kupi answering for his 9 years in office. None of those things were on the table. Right, this thing became about personality, and it became about not even Joseph Jala, not even about Kotimai. It became about Thomas Fala, Jefferson Koji, and Finabono on one side, on the other side. It was never about anything else. It was just about that. And so because of that, that must, I want to believe that that might have been a reason for the low voters turn out, because you have 180,000 people registered to vote in Lofa. You got 62,000 plus come out to vote, and you are having invalid votes. You have more invalid votes than people that voted for Sumo Kupi. You got more invalid votes than people than the margin between the winner and the second place. So that is an electoral problem. The other thing I want to correct my papa on is that Alexander Kumi did not refuse to go to Lofa County because he said he's standing in solidarity with Brani Samukai. Alexander Kumi refused to go to Lofa County because he did not want the Unity Party to have a candidate, because he said there was a clause in the agreement that said any party that leaves cannot field a candidate. And so he went to court trying to prevent the Unity Party from having a candidate in the Lofa elections. It was not because of his solidarity with Brani Samukai. That was never the issue. The last piece is, though, I really don't think that Alexander Kumis come out as a winner in this thing. Remember 2017 when he refused to take a stand and endorse any one of the two candidates in the race, and they came back to hunt him. It took a long time for him to fight that. He, at minimum, should have been in Liberia doing something else. At minimum, what happened was the cameras were not on him. At least the one that matters in Liberia were not focused on him. The last 3 days, nobody has said anything about Benedict Cummings. Nobody. Everybody has been talking about Joseph Boakai, George Weah, Dillon, and Yaka Kolba. It has not. Cummings has been missing. Yeah, he's here in America raising money, but politically that doesn't help him. When you are out of the news in the country in which you are running for that long with these kind of things going on, it's not a winner for him. So I don't see how he wins that. But for my thing is, to the end, and then I'll let you come in. To the end, then I'll let you come in. I do agree with you that there is blood in the water now. There is blood in the water, in the political water in Lofa County, and the sharks are all swimming now to see who can set up offices in Lofa County, because now they see, for good or bad and indifferent, that Joseph Boakai can be pushed a little bit in Lofa County. But I want to just say something here that we have to be careful not to read too much into these results, because these were all Lofians contesting against Lofians. It becomes different when you have somebody out of Lofa County going to contest against Joseph Boakai in Lofa County. So yes, it has shown that there are some, there is a chance that Joseph Boakai can be moved around in Lofa County. I just want us to be careful in how we read the election results, because that does not necessarily mean that Joseph Boakai State does not win Lofa County. It just might mean that he doesn't win Lofa County by 91% anymore. But it doesn't mean that he's no longer the godfather of the county.
Well, then why people make the argument that CDC is not in charge of Maserati again? Then why people make that argument?
You have made an argument here as well.
Listen now, but he himself had made the same argument. Because CDC,
but because in Maserati, Mr. Jeremy, answer that question quick. In Maserati, George Weah is not claiming it as his birthplace. So that's the reason. And in Maserati, every election since Ellington, Maserati has been a hotbed of opposition. Maserati has always been won by opposition. When George was in opposition, that's how he won. So Maserati has always been a hotbed of opposition. So for somebody to claim that it's their base, it's a very difficult thing to claim.
Let me get this here, because I come here 1 second, and you made that point here because I saw somebody Twitter here, and I just sent a message because we always like to get it. As far as we can say, LPR, no, and Pat Joy say, Jala Warren CDC rare Channing barrier does not mean he joined CDC. And I just confirmed with, because somebody Twitter said he joined CDC in Lofa. What we do know and what we are hearing from our correspondent, absolutely capital N-O. There's nowhere, no audio, no conference, no statement emanating from Lofa that he will not, Councillor Joseph Jala have joined the ruling establishment. Go ahead.
Yeah, so what it was CDC that came out with this now. Maserati was their home, nobody will take it. We saw during the life of Polita year, they said nobody will take Maserati for them, they will win it, and Darryl Duncan and whip them 2 times. Going back to Lofa, yes, I know all politics is local tribal. So if Ambassador Yima is running for president, maybe 75 to 80% of Lofa will support him because they know that their son. But when they between Lofans, then now it become a different ballgame.
Yes. And what I was saying, one of the things I was saying,
I tried to get on the election commission website, but it was down at the time I was trying. Because I wanted to see the vote from the Bani area, where Joseph Jara hailed from. Because I sure there's some local politics, tribal politics they play in that area. Because I sure he had won that place massively. I sure, because that their son and those numbers would have helped to push him over the top as the election commission announced the result. But you said something about communists, and let me go back to something. Yes, the thing, Sissy, if it is not coming, if the ANC would have feel a candidate in Lofa, the story would be different. They would have said that ANC went to spoil the Unity Party. That would have been the narrative. If they had not won, they would say it was the ANC that helped to spoil that election in Lofa. So that was a wise decision that Mr. Cummings took, or the ANC not to feature a candidate there, because just what happened.
No, Mr. George, my point was not that ANC did not feature a candidate in Lofa. That was not my point. You said that the reason you said he was in solidarity with Brownie, and that's the reason he didn't go. I said that's not the truth. I said the reason he didn't go was because he wanted to quote to prevent the UP from hosting a candidate.
I'm not just saying it, or saying I speak on record. The press conference that Mr. Cummings had, go and watch the press conference before he left. The press conference the last time he had, it was clearly stated in there. So I'm not just speaking from my head.
Yeah, but it's a fact that he wanted to quote to prevent the Unity Party from
was a fact
from feeding the candidate. So yeah, so you can't come back now and play that political game and say you're doing it because you love Brownie Samuka.
That going to quote, it was the clause that was in that document. They say the clause that was put there, it was based that he went to court, and that clause was thrown. The court they threw it out.
Okay.
But I'm saying the press conference, he made it clear why the ANC would not support any candidate in Lofa County. So I'm saying, I'm not just speaking off my head. It's based on the press conference that he made. That's what I'm speaking from. And secondly, I'm saying, even if the ANC would have put a candidate in Lofa, and United Party happened to lose, the first one, United Party will make the same reference again. He did not support us 2017. Now he put the candidate there that what cost us on vote to lose the election. That would have been a narrative again. So I'm saying it was the one decision he made. You may just approve it, fine. I don't even
know what decision you're talking about, Mr. George, because I think we're all talking about two different
we're not okay. Let's get back here. Let's look at the fallout in this whole thing here. I'm getting the information here that Ambassador Boycott, did campaign. He actually campaigned from St. Paul Bridge all the way to 49.
He did. And that was the point I wanted to make, and I forgot that because we are here talking about the last day of campaigning, the last 2 days of campaigning that were focused in Foya. But before then, Boakai had been campaigning from all the way from the St. Paul Bridge. They have been campaigning when Yeke Koluba got in Lofa County. Yeke Koluba's father has a farm in Salaye. He is from Solowo, from Soso District. Yeke Koluba campaigned in Salaye District, all the way in Soso District before they all met up in Foya. So Foya was where they all congregated at the end, but they all campaigned other places.
But then let me ask you the question, Sissy. What that speaks? If they did campaign, you are running a campaign. If they did campaign, then what was the cost?
How do you and to add up to that? Let's add a bridge over troubled water here. You're involved in a modern campaign here, and unfortunately, that's not the situation here. When you are concluding to your campaign, what is the conclusion? How do you conclude your campaign?
So here's one thing we gotta lay out, right? Campaigning in the United States way different than campaigning in Liberia. So no, because let me give you one quick and then I'll answer your question. So my wife moves here to me from Liberia. In the year she comes, I'm campaigning, I'm running for office. Mm-hmm. And she comes and she goes, "Oh, baby, you having a campaign today?" I say, "Yeah, and I'm going out today campaigning." She goes, "Oh, then let's go." So we get dressed and I pick up my flyers and I'm calling my volunteers. And so I gave us some flyers and we reached out the first door and I knock on the door to talk to the folks. I say, "Yo, I'm Sissy Goya, I'm running for school district." And she go, "Baby, we're not going to no stadium to go." I said, "No, we're not doing a bowl say you're going to the door."
We're not going to no sour business.
1 hour, in 1 hour of knocking doors, my wife started look at me now. She's tired. I said, "Oh, but Mama, we didn't even do nothing much. You rather want to go home." So it is so different. But to be truthful to you, when campaigns conclude on election next, every candidate or every campaign has a headquarter where they all sit at, they bring all their strategists, they bring all their number crushers, they sit there and they watch the data come through, watch the pool come through and everything. And usually the campaign will climax in a city that is either a stronghold of the candidate or in an area where the candidate feels that there is a chance to get votes out of there and you can split it. And so for FOIA, everybody felt like FOIA did not have a horse in the race, so to speak. There was no kissy person running in there. So then FOIA became the place where everybody said, well, we can go there and make this place a battleground. Because nobody wanted to go to Kolahu. And to answer your question, I think Mr. Georgie asked that question, trying to look for the amount to look for by how much Joseph Jara won in like District 3. So they have District 3, right? In District 3, Joseph Jara had 8,139 votes to Kalakba Kotiman's 2,524. So in District 3, Joseph Jara has 65% of the vote. That is huge. So you're asking that question on the list that out there. And so it would have not made any sense for somebody to go spend their political capital in District 3, knowing that was going to be a huge strong.
Then let's stabilize the conversation here. Was that a strategic positions on the part? Okay, I'm saying this here, but until we can confirm this with the Jala folks, even though I saw the red barrel on his face, somebody writing that he feel a membership, that does not necessarily suggest that he has done that. Until we can confirm that with people that are close to him, that's okay. But he's there, he reported. So are you saying these the opposition that was very strategic, they knew what were going to come along the way? Was that the case? And so they take a tactical retreat politically?
I don't even think they understood. I don't think so. I don't think they understood anything they were doing, or just everybody's running around campaigning. But again, full disclosure, I really, for me, will hope that I was hoping that neither one of these two were going to win. So then there was going to be a chance for my candidate, Tiawan Gonglo 2023, to see how we can make some inroads in there. But having said that, I don't even think the independent Joseph Jara and his backers, the CDC, had a strategy. I think people just flipped this coin and said, took Coco Omisi and saw which one came down and they took it. Because I really failed to see any strategy. One of the reasons why I'm saying this is if you remember from the last senatorial election in Maserado with between Thomas Fala and what's the senator Dillon. The opposition.
Go ahead, quick. Sorry.
The opposition was so structured in a way that Henry Costa ran an entire night. And there were shows where they were announcing from this other polling station. Here is the number. From this other polling
station. Thing. That I can tell you. Nothing.
So no, just one of my point. I'm not saying he was right. I'm just saying something. They had it in a way where at least they were able to get data in time when people, when they signed it, somebody Snapchat a picture and send it. Somebody Snapchat a picture and send it. So that was available. Look at Lofa County. There was a stark difference. It almost seemed to me, one of the guys is writing in the chat here, it almost seems to me like, maybe United Party did not even have enough people at the polls to be the poll watchers, because it was so difficult to get data. Even the United Party war room, I monitored the United Party war room. They themselves didn't even have all the data, and they waited at 81%. Why are you waiting at 81% if all of the people that you send in the field report to you 100%? Why would you? I would have expected for the political parties to have had 100% of their reporting even before NEC. Because NEC has to wait for all of those things to come in counted to get it. They didn't even have that. So they were very dysfunctional. So if that dysfunction went into the counting of the votes and the reporting of the votes, I just imagine how much dysfunction went into even the election hearing process.
So you put it into context, and that's what I said. This way they have no damn thing called anything like a war room. Before you could get a war room, you must have information, valuable information on your decks. In a folder, that way your strategist, that way the strategist section going to come in. Look, for FOIA area, that column, the column we expect so number of votes. This is our weaknesses. This is our strength. We need to go do extra there. How many people were deployed there? If NEC can tell us how many persons participated in the process, how they can tell us, do they have any record? Can they tell us that they voted? I mean, that they register people voluntarily? You have our correspondent here, do this. The 5 districts, only 2 districts were picked. Now, there was some sort of red tape line all over the place, and all of them kept quiet, and they just think that they were going to march onto Zion. Look, they need to stop wasting our time here. And yeah, what I don't know, this person claimed to be, I don't know, Councilor Jala. Jala, I have seen him, we never had a conversation. He said, attending programs and wearing CDC barrier does not suggest my senator elect Councilor Jala is crossing over to CDC. When the ripeness of time comes, there will be a press conference. So, Facebook, yeah, I see a tweet here from Thomas Fowler, Representative Fowler, and all of that, look, politics is something. It's such a unique game. You have to understand the language when people saying or doing things here. But here is the bigger part here. Politically, who is in trouble? I've been having a conversation, talking to a lot of people. The tension now, where is this tension have shifted? A lot of people who work in government, who are former Unity Party partisans, some are still sympathizers. Right now, there's a deep conversation ongoing with Ambassador Joseph Nyuma-Boyka because he has to stabilize this whole thing here. He does not want to create a front line, a political front line. There's a hurt already in the process here. He doesn't want to see a much bigger divide within Lofa County that will politically haunt him. Is that a right move he's taking right now? And will his folks listen to him? His talkers and those who proxy affairs, those who try to enhance his political agenda, would they listen to the ambassador?
Yeah, one thing here, let us say this, Mr. So. And for me, I see it, I call it as I see it.
Yeah, that was something to say from the far right side. Yeah. You're in Georgia. You wanted to change the election result.
No, but our good secretary is still his store for us, so we're not likely to go. But here's the thing, Mr. So, Ambassador Barker has the experience. He's well landed, but I say he just don't have the energy again. It's time for him to retire.
Oh, wow.
But here's the problem. The young people, they don't have the courage to stand up. They're hiding behind this old man.
Guess what? Samson Toy is not on the network. This is not a society bush. Don't speak in an executory tone here. We are our audience. I'm a young man. He's a young man. Are you referring to me? Who are you?
Have you seen the youth chairman of the political parties that can be 42 years old?
Listen.
I don't have anything.
Bro, listen. Mo Ali. Henry Costa. George will be real. George Lobo. And list called Ami Motaden. Why these young people are pushing this old man? You don't think it's not time for them to stand up and say, we are the that old man sit down, be the advisor to us? What are they doing? So let me go to the issue of Lofa County. It's that now. Because Thomas Fowler then, Jefferson Kochi then, they are tested power. And they're not going to stop right now. They will continue to push him. So now the question is, how can Honorable Joseph Boakai rally the base from his Unity Party? What is the assurance now that he can give them? Saying what have gone on. Campaign were poorly mismanaged. Ononi, Who are the soldiers that they got now? Benny Najure went there. That Odilon went there. Bota is not from the group. Yagakoba not from the group. They just wanted to sympathize.
Yakoba is an ANC member.
Yes, man.
That's what I'm saying. Yagakoba and Bota.
That as well.
But that team, that Benny Najure,
You see how you're excusing the ANC people, right? You said they're not from their group. Even though Yakoba
Why are you trying to watch here? Emon George. Even though
Yakoba
Emon George. Now your hair is being caught in the cookie jars. Why are you watching ANC out of this whole thing here?
Listen, they went there. I didn't say they didn't go.
ANC is Alexander
They
Cummings. Is
went
that what you
there.
want to tell us?
No. Listen, Mr. So, Donald Trump told people in Georgia not to go vote. Somebody said, listen, went to vote. Mr. Cummings made it clear that the ANC was not putting a candidate there. If an individual from the party wants to go, you cannot stop that person. That's not an excuse. And so say no.
No, I don't know it. I don't know it.
Okay, but if you know that, I'm telling you.
I dare you watching you trying to do that whole political
No.
spinning
I'm
around
not
your two ANC members that were there.
Listen, I don't play that game. I didn't say Yagakoba didn't go there. Yagakoba went there. I said in solidarity, in sympathy with the candidate. But originally, Yagakoba is representing Maserati. But what I'm seeing here, Honorable Boakai, he has a team that run the campaign. What did Amumoda do to show victory in that county? What did he do? What the work they did? Now the aroma, they said that they didn't have enough poll washer. There was issue of finances.
Let me address that.
Now, how now can Ambassador Boakai rally this troop to say, gentlemen, I'm the guy?
So, Sese,
you know what I usually laugh at is when ANC folks try to make this ageist argument against Joseph Boakai. After having gone to bed and political marriage with him, apparently they didn't see his age at that time because they saw his age, they went into an agreement with him, and that agreement was that any one of them could be head of the CPP, could be the candidate. So they threw their lots with that, gambled that Joseph Boakai could have been the standard bearer of the CPP, and ANC folks would have agreed to that. So their ageist argument was not going to work at that time. But now that they split apart in the CPP, this is when ageism become an issue. So I usually just laugh. I usually just laugh at that. To move that conversation further, I think every political party in Liberia ought to be having an introspection and thinking about the ways to reform themselves structurally and ideological, even along ideological lines, on how do they become more mainstream and become even more representative of the people in Liberia. And that also go as far as the ANC. Maybe this is time that we start being US based and become Liberia based. That could be an argument somebody could make against you. And so, but for me, what I see is that in the Unity Party, I am not a fan of the Unity Party, has never been a fan of the Unity Party. So I want to really 98% say here that they would not take my advice because they know where I stand when it comes to the Unity Party. I am a traditionalist. I respect my uncle Joseph Juman Boakai, but I would not vote for the Unity Party, and I've never, ever supported the Unity Party, and I will not because I got my own issues with them. But moving on is that the Unity Party ought to start thinking about grooming, if they're not doing that yet, grooming next generation leaders. The ANC ought to start thinking about grooming next generation leaders. The LP, the CDC, everybody ought to start thinking about, because what has happened quite often in party politics in Liberia is that the person who is associated with the party the most, the standard bearer, when they exit the stage, the party is dead. the Unity Party is still not dead simply because, there's still people in power that still got linked to the Unity Party. But if you think about the NPP and the NDPL and the True Week Party, those are all almost dead, extinct political parties. And so if these political parties do not do a work of trying to make sure that they are grooming the next generation leaders, they're all going to fall in the same line of the NDPL and the NPP.
Yeah, but let me just say that, it's now today I spoke about Joseph Morgan like this. I'm on record for it from the onset. Because I believe in
your guy in the marriage with him.
Listen, I'm a progressive. We cannot.
The progressive will take you?
Because so it has to pass on. There are certain things you do certain time. You just gotta say, this point, it's not for me to take the back seat.
So wait a minute, that's a big revelation here. So you and the liberal and none of you been having this stuff here, and he pretends.
No, it's not liberal idea. You cannot stay in one position all your life that you die there. You have to grow other people, because when you leave the vacuum you create, it will take years of.
Sorry, I think they're from my head.
It will take years to fill that vacuum.
So who you're grooming to take Alexander Cummings' place?
Oh no, not yet. And
you said not yet when they're time, but you know what them to do their own.
How will you say? You see now, I want a question. How will you say not yet?
You see, this is the problem you people have. When people speak the truth, you say, "How will you say it?" That's why people don't like some of us, because we say the facts, and that is the truth. So all these people, not grooming anybody right now,
including ANC,
including ANC.
Okay.
Nobody. They're not grooming anybody. Everybody looking at one man, and when that man leave, that party demise. Then they start running to other institutions now. That had been the issue in Liberia. We don't build in the institution, we build individual. And that is a serious problem. We have to get away from it. Building individual will not move the country forward.
You want me on that one. You got my whole ear to you now on that one. I agree with you 100% on that.
Yeah, we have to build institution, not individual.
But then let me ask you a further question now. Because ANC is a relatively new political organization. What are political parties doing? Because I can talk to Unity Party people. I know a bunch of them, and you ask them about the party ideology. Nobody can articulate the Unity Party ideology, and if they try, you get different things from 3 different people when you ask them. The same thing with the CDC. You ask citizens ask them about the Pro-Poll agenda. You get 7,000 different explanations of what that is before you even ask them about what the party actually stands for. What's the ideology? And I think that's the reason, to your point, though, Mr. George, that people follow individuals. Like me, for example, I'm saying I'm following Tiawan Gonglo. And I'm falling into that trap right now because I do not follow the LPP, but I'm following Tiawan Gonglo. So if Tiawan Gonglo were to go to Unity Party, chances are high that I might go to Unity Party, right? If Tiawan Gonglo were to come to ANC, chances are high I will come to the ANC, because I have now become a follower of a person and that person's ideology instead of a political institution ideology. So how do we, because somebody like me who has run elections, who is, at least I consider myself a little bit learned, is following an individual. How do I expect people in my village who have not had this much exposure to modern politics to not do the same thing?
Well, that's why I have spoken to some people from the ANC, and I say, you people need to furnish up with the party manifesto, so we can read. If I'm telling Sissy about something, I can say, hey, this is what I'm talking about. Read this document, you can look at it. And that is the problem that all the political parties not doing. Everybody just talk in the mouth. And I'm saying, let us have some papers. If you have paper, it's much easier to talk to somebody because you can make reference to it. Okay? I have seen a whole lot of good commercials of Mr. Cummings talking about the why, the how, this and that good. But they say they have it. I will call somebody, hey, give me a copy. So if I have a copy, I can send it to CC. Because When you go in the village, you will be able to tell someone, this man said when he became president, he will build a school. And this is how he will build a school. This is how the money will come from. This is how he's going to do this. We have to have those things too.
So, okay.
But in Liberia, it's about the football field.
Let's return to basic.
Hey, Munya. That's it.
Okay, gentlemen, let's return to baseline, the fallout in this whole thing, the implication, what it means, and all of that. A lot of unknown, a lot of unanswered questions stay here. And unfortunately, our Liberian politicians, and I say it, I believe you can bear me with that, they don't take responsibility. Nobody gonna come out there from the coalition or even the Unity Party. No one will come out to say, wow, I'm gonna hold forward.
You get breaking news?
Well, I don't want. I'm not a fan of this sort of breaking news here, because sometimes when you use these things,
it becomes problem,
and people misuse them. So as a result, people don't really have the kind of appetite. You wake up, they want their breaking news. Why you're breaking news, and it's not even breaking, you know. So I don't. As we get it, we'll just say it. But what I want to say here is, it's unfortunate to see what is happening. These institutions, and we have said this over and over and over, is all about a single individual. And when this person is faded away, that's the end of the institution. In the first place, no loyalty to the party. They don't have no loyalty. Everybody is after of what they are going to get today, now, in a minute, in a second. They can't tie their belly for anything. They can't. And see what happened. If you have a loyalty for an institution, I'm not saying people should go hungry to go as a pool washer, but you see this country, that's one of the things that people in the country, they are proud of. Their country, it comes first. And they believe in that sort of institution. You and I go do a pool washing here for representing Jala Bell, which is heavily supported by the ruling establishment, have all of the financial capability. And yet, where you say, I mean, Mada, and can't send anything. You're drinking your soft drink or maybe orange juice, and I'm looking for 10 for 5 water. How long can I go with that? I can't. So as a result, these people, their mind can be twisted in the twinkle of an eye. And that's why we see happening now, because any party, the people, they are poor. They don't have money. If you don't get money, don't get in. You contested here. If you don't have money, don't get involved in election, because nobody want to. Guess what? It's
different.
Eh?
It's different though. It's different here. Because I don't want you to start making people start calling me for like, bro, say I'm a senator, say because I ran.
Oh my!
Money that you get.
But I'm talking about in the past. No, the reason, and you're going to make your point. The reason I'm saying this here is, people here, ordinary people, that give to a structure or something that they believe in. But first of all, our political the people, I don't know where they come from, coin this political leader war. I don't know who the heck brought that stuff here. But these people, they are very dishonest. They are not, they say one thing today, they only say it today when it satisfies their political curiosity, or when something is inside for them. But when something is not inside, you see them flip-flopping like this. They're all like this, someone 360 degrees. They are not trusted. They are not reliable. So nobody is willing to invest into what they are doing, because there's too much uncertainty in there. And that's the problem that we are having. Now, with all of this here, what do you think is Ambassador Boyka processing right now? And I said this here, this whole campaign here was all about, it was wrongly interpreted by this supporter here. They didn't go there to the Abraham Darrell Dillon, they didn't go there to defend the character of the contestant, of the candidate himself, as to how he want to do it, maybe how he intend to work with the opposition if elected. But it was all tied to George. George, we are not contesting in. He was not contesting in Lofa. Joseph Boyka is not on the ballot. They took this whole thing and removed the main contestant, they inserted Joseph Boyka, George Weah, Brandon Samuka. Now, the question now becomes, how far or how did the opposition, did they even reach out to Browning? And if not Browning, the surrogate, the high supporter, the voters of Browning that are disenchanted, who felt that Browning was kind of removed from the picture, they reached out to them. And even if they reached out to them, what were their role in this campaign here? They took their own people from Monrovia or maybe somewhere, Lofa Highway there, and carried them. And maybe forgot about those people who are based on the ground, who know where to go to get the vote. These are capabilities. I'm trying to go beyond the table line here to say here. And I know for sure they didn't do that. Instead, they rely on somebody somewhere and think that they're going to throw a red meat out there, and every little dick and tongue was getting that bite and say, yes, this is a meat.
They were relying on.
Don't underestimate the power of elected officials. You know, Darius de London going to Lofa was not for now. In politics, even here, when I ran for office, there were people who came and endorsed me that didn't live in the district I was running. Politicians, elected politicians. But because they have name recognition, people see that, and I put that on my Facebook page or to go door knocking with me. Somebody said, oh, well, that dude is running, you know, Keith Ellison, the attorney general, endorsed him and he's door knocking with him. Even though Keith Ellison is not, you know, it's not in my district and he's a statewide person. So, you know, there is the power of having people who have won elections and who are already elected standing with you. So we cannot underestimate that. Now, did they use their power wisely would be another question, because I think they all just went as members of the King's Court, you know, King Bwaka's court. And they just traveled that way as members of the King's Court, you know, versus actually going there, like you said, going with cutting mine, spending days in there, going with cutting mine from town to town, different towns, and campaigning with cutting mine and talking about cutting mine and talking about what the county stands to benefit, with cutting mine being one of their colleagues, you know, Boss Charles Sibwe and Darius DeLong could have made that point. Could have said, yo, we are already in the Senate. This is the kind of person we will want. When he gets in the Senate, here is how he will help us help.
And we are here because we have had a
because right, you know, so that would have been an appropriate use of their stature, but they didn't use that. The other thing is, you know, political parties in Liberia rely on a few people financially, and therefore those few people tend to make the decisions always. And so because of that, you find political parties are always 1 or 2 degrees separated from the people that they have as members and the people that they're trying to lead. And that is why you find this cottage kind of idea mentality where people almost like a court. Like, I like this guy, I like George Weah, I'm a sedition. As a matter of fact, there is now a group of people calling themselves Weah Shin. And the president actually even gave them, even recognized them. The seditions and the Weahshins. The Weahshins are the people who just believe in George Weah. They ain't get nothing. They care time for CDC. They, you know, whatever George Weah say, you know, they listen to all of his new releases and everything. So the way you change that, you know, when I ran politics, I ran for office here. My most recent race, my political campaign spent about maybe 50,000-60,000 total on campaigning. But I'll tell you that my own contribution was less than $500. What happened was we had people given to the campaign, but beyond that, we had endorsements. So you get these civic organizations, right? These liberal, progressive organizations, they endorse you, they come with money. Some of them endorsed me, and I had $10,000 check come in the mail to my campaign headquarters. I opened my campaign mailbox, $10,000 to Sisi Goya, and you put that into your coffers, and you use it however way you feel you see fit. So if I'm running a campaign that is about $50,000 and I only have $500 in it, there are about $45,500 plus that came from, you know, the political party, the civic organizations, and the people who I spoke to that felt like, yeah, we need to fund you. We don't have that in Liberia because quite too often, civic organizations in Liberia don't go ahead and try to study candidates and even endorse candidates. You know what would happen if the National Teachers Association endorsed a candidate in Liberia? You know what would happen if the NCSS students endorsed a candidate and actually went out to campaign for that candidate? Then these political parties and these candidates will see these organizations as very, very necessary. Because if the student union come out and endorse one person and they start telling all their fellow students across the nation, vote for that person in your locality, they now become a force to be reckoned with. So then when any political party is making a decision, they will make sure that they have student union representatives in their hierarchy. But
Right.
as it is right now, Mr. So, I was just joking with that. I said, we got 45-year-old people being chairman of youth organization, youth wings in political parties. You know, that's a mockery because you're not getting the youth at the table. How do you get a youth at the table? You haven't enfranchised them. You want to go to them and give them, you know, the whole abose, and you buy food and they go by their business, and you expect somebody to be loyal to the party. No, they're not going to be loyal to the party. They're going to be loyal to the person who gave them that 10 for 5 plastic bag of water to drink that one day. And if that person is not there to give it the next time, the next person that steps in, we don't see you the same way because you're not providing the same thing, because we got no party loyalty, and the party has not been loyal to the people, so the people cannot be loyal to the party.
That's a very critical analysis. Mr. Joy, do you agree with me?
Yeah, I do agree with him. And just to add on, you know, and sometimes I tell people, Sissy, your loyalty to institution is very vital, very important. And I say these are some of the characteristics of a human being. I remember the first political party I ever joined was the Liberian Action Party in Liberia. And since then, I never joined any other political party. Never. Because I believe at the time the party is that party core value, I did believe in it. So even you have my countrymen give up that they had a party, I didn't even think on that thing. I went somewhere that I felt that what I see the manifest thing, I believe in it. Today in Liberia, people are belly driven. Young people are belly driven. And I always tell people, why you always want to receive things on a silver platter? Why you don't want to suffer for it? This is what happened in Liberia. We continue to give the excuses. But if these excuses, if we want to hold fast with it, do you think you get the people like the late Nelson Mandela would have achieved what they did achieve? No.
Let's bring this news. This is getting a little bit off here. We yet to establish the authenticity of this news. Multiple phone calls has been placed to Granny Samuka, including some high-profile Unity partisans are calling Samuka. What are they doing that to Sisi? To do what?
I said it the other day. Sister, you coming? You said you coming? You from that country?
And I don't want to call the person tap on this here, and I mean, hierarchy decision maker of a Unity party. Multiple folks are placing phone call to Samuka. Apparently, it's a possible meeting is in the making, but we don't know yet. We have to verify this information. But if phone calls have been placed to Samuka right after these elections result, what is the purpose of that phone call, and what behind those phone calls?
So I think when we had a conversation the other day, we're talking about Brownie Samuka's chances in anything, and I think Mr. George was talking about the legality of his felony conviction. And one thing I would want you to watch, Mr. So, and for our listening and viewing audience to watch, is to watch the next 6 months and watch the movement of Brownie Samukai. There was a reason Brownie Samukai did not raise anybody here in Lofa County. There is a reason for that. Because if you are preparing yourself as the heir apparent to the king on the ground right now, to Joseph Boakai, you do not want to come in with baggages already. Because Brownie Samukai would have been a huge swinger. Whomever hand he had raised in Lofa County, that person would have had a huge chance.
I'm surprised. And this is where I see the political.
But he didn't do that because he's hedging his bet. He's setting himself up as the next in line, so to speak. And if you want to be a king in Lofa County, you got to be a twins mother. And so that is what Brandon Samuka is trying to do. So
Understands-
watch the next 6 months before we get into
understand the
2023.
tradition. He seems to understand the tradition in
Oh,
Lofa.
he does. He does. But besides that, you got to understand human nature, right? Right now, the senatorial race is high. It's top priority. People put their money into it. People put their families into it. They put their family name on the line. And if you come and you endorse one person out of their entire group, you've just created 5 other enemies, right? All of that. And so even if the person you endorse win, you still got people now that you got to be watching your back for, that when you decide to run for a higher office, that are going to be endorsing people against you or campaigning against you. And Brian Samuka is a smart man. He's a military tactician. So by all means, this is completely out of that handbook. And I was not surprised to see him not come out and make any public statement regarding the elections in Lofa or take any sides for or against anybody.
Can we say he's talking to legal practitioner now, if possible? Because Brannings, I know I worked with him before in the past. I worked with him before in the past on a very short-term basis. He's very strategic as a paramilitary personnel and stuff like that, and very smart guy. I don't know how this whole thing wrapped around your core. That's the difficulty of working with bosses, especially when it's on the presidential level. Now, will he, if for discussion purposes, if Brandon Samuka were to surface right now, and he could be having a conversation with Ambassador Boyka, if he were to surface right now, something didn't go right in this whole thing here. Brandon were coming into the picture. There were some folks surrounding Joseph Boyka or sort of elements with in the Unity Party. They were saying that when Brandon came forth from, it would be a big obstacle to Ambassador Boyka, and that would be a big device. And he went the other way, and here we are. If Brownie were to come in the picture today, would that set a different face? This craziness we're saying on the part of some of these surrogates who profess to be a supporter of Unity Party of Joseph Boyka, Brownie won't take that nonsense.
Wow.
Brownie won't take that nonsense. The Brownie that I know, he won't take that nonsense.
Yes.
He will out in a specific way, just how Senator John McCain did at that stadium when that individual, even though he was a one person, but the message he was sending out was very divisive. And John McCain went there quietly and removed that microphone. This is not what my campaign represents. Our politicians do not have that guts. When you ask them, I have asked multiple of them that come out and, oh yeah, the people, they're doing their own thing. Yeah, they're doing their own thing, but they are 247 on the social media, projecting your image. They spend less time to tell us exactly what these their candidates represent. They cause, they abuse, they spread falsehood, lies, make up because they want some political tokens. That's all about it. And they think they have the power of to manipulate. And they have, someone said it's less costly to have 20 stupid people. You don't spend anything on stupid people. It is expensive to have people. It is expensive to maintain people with hair on their shoulder. So because of the stupid people so plenty, there's less cost. You don't have, all you need to do, just put your voice, your ideas and things together, throw it out there, visualize it as well, and people grab with it and they say, yes, this is our Redeemer, this is our King.
So Mr. So, and thank God you brought that up, because I want to make a point that I've made with a lot of politicians that have met me and have tried to get me to support them in Liberia. And it is the issue of having that spine, so to speak, to stand up erect morally and take a stand that it is wrong, that is being perpetrated against your opponent, because we are all Liberians. Even though we're all running in different political parties, we are all running for the betterment of Liberia. And the point I'm trying to make is that every politician, almost every one of them, have been very silent whenever people have come to castigate Mr. Alexander Cummings. They know the issues, they know the fact. But I'm yet to see one person come out and say, like, the one thing they always talk about is Cummings, and I'm going to repeat it, and I really apologize to your viewing audience. I apologize to Mr. Cummings. This is in no way meant to disrespect you, sir. I'm just making this as an illustration. when people say that Alexander Cummings is gay, and even though there has been a plethora of evidences provided to show the otherwise, politicians at the top of political parties have not mustered the courage to come out and say that we do not believe this about Alexander Cummings, and we do not even see that as an issue in running to be president. None of them has done it, and for me, I think that is a shame on every one of them, from my own Papa Joseph Walker down to everybody. That is shameful. Because you can disagree with Alexander Cummings on his idea and on his proposal on how to move Liberia forward, but you do not have the right to castigate him, and you do not have the right to sit there and allow your surrogates to demean him and demean his character without standing up front. And for me, that's one of the things I've seen that's been wrong in Liberian politics lately, and that is very, very wrong. And it also applies to a lot of other things. That I've seen people who, they are strategists of a particular candidate that will get on the air and insult George Weah, man. That is disrespectful to the highest. You do not have to respect George Weah, the man, but you have to respect, as a Liberian citizen, the office of the presidency. You can disagree with George Weah. You can lay out your plan against the pro-poor agenda. You can talk about the alleged theft in government and all of the lapses in government. So you do not have the right to insult George Weah and insult his mom. Right? People do the same thing. They will take picture of Omer Boakai when he's relaxing. Oh, Sleepy Joe. Breaking news. Joseph Boakai battery went off last night. And we're looking for a new battery. That is not politics. And if a politician allow his or her war room or his or her surrogates to do stuff like that, and you don't have that John McCain moment like you talk about, to take the mic back and say, no, I do not stand for that, we are in trouble. And that's what is happening in Liberia right now. We're still looking for people to stand up.
Yeah, but Sissy, these things come with discipline. And I always say this.
In the last few minutes, let me put a number right here.
People do these things, and you have a leader supporting you. There are people within some of the political party do some terrible things. The leader don't say a word. And that goes to the Liberian people. We have this issue that when we don't like you, even when someone offends you, we will support those people that offend you. And I tell people it's wrong. Today, we're seeing the same play in Liberia. That story you gave me about Alexander Cummings, they call this guy Obi Obe. Obi, he was then one of the staunch supporters of CDC. He sat and he said, look, this guy here, we don't have anything to put on him. Let's look for something. He said he invented that idea that Alexander Cummings was gay. And he said how he did it. He called one friend of Alexander Cummings who knew Alexander from Atlanta and said, oh, this is like, the guy said, oh, my man, yeah, you can say, but I don't know. He said, well, yeah. Obi, on video here, confessed, go on YouTube several times that he lied on Alexander Cummings. But today, there are people in other political parties still carrying that yes, this man is gay. And let me say this. Henry Porter Costa, when an attorney is insulting Cummings, Ambassador Boga came to Philadelphia, they asked him. He went and gave a parole. And so he coming to condemn me in the public. Yeah, you support me, but what you saying about this man is wrong. But and again, I don't know. Because this very man, Ambassador Boga, if you go on YouTube, Costa has said a horrible thing about this man here, about Ambassador Boga. But today, this man is the one that said he put life in the Unity Party. So he's like that nobody can touch. And other people go to say horrible things about other people. For instance, when when they wrote that book, when they published that book, they came out and it's not coming to a step immediately to release
chapter 2. I'm Papa chapter 2 here.
Yeah, to release of his post. Then you have women in Liberia came onto the support of the president's wives. Then the question I asked them, I said, when Henry Costa with Mo Ali with that girl, when Henry Costa on TV referred to that girl as P, as prostitute, a lady that Henry Costa described because his friend has one of the girls a border bed and they get refused. Those
More
were
shouldn't even be around Unity Party. He has moral issue. These are the failed. That's why we have failed institutions, and the people are willing to put them out.
The women in Liberia never stood up to come to that girl rescue, to demand an apology of 100%. No women stood up. But when it was glad we are mentioned in that book, you see the guy in the street, Julian Aniden, and I want to front page on Facebook. I said these people are hypocrites. They don't deserve anything. These women who in the street saying that they support women cause. What about all these instances that I'm giving? Why you didn't come up? So we have a moral problem in the country, except with our own people. That also go into the leadership. So there is a serious plan. We need to start calling on all our political leaders to actors who are in power to start condemning it, because it will continue in the society, which will not be good for us.
Let me go to this. Let me go to the phone line here quickly. Okay, it's 8815 lies 4 digits. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, go ahead.
You get it?
Yeah.
First, I want to thank you for the show. I listened to your other co-hosts. You said people can call Mr. Cumming or gay, and no politician can come out to condemn it. Your co-hosts who are supporting Unity Party in the Lofa County by-election, who spoke Loma and said people will vote for Baron Kotuna. When a certain representative go to a county, quote unquote, he say he go campaign break ground, standing near the former vice president, Joseph Iman Bwaka with Ben Ayue. He said he breaking ground, but in the breaking ground he was doing by insulting President Weah, insulting Thomas Farr, never discussed the issue. Your co-host never came out to say what you guys were doing was wrong. But what he did, he was speaking Loma, telling the people that they don't vote for Obama Kotuma because Kotuma was the best. But today the table turn around and changing the tune. That is the deception we have in Liberia. If we want better Liberia, if it was so wrong when there's wrong, come out and say the wrong. But it might not happen for the guy to go in and say, well, if Unity Party could win today, your co-host could talk all the sweet thing about Unity Party. But because the table turn around today, that's the time he know that in politics people insult people. So I think the best thing we need to rethink our position as a Liberian. Like he said, we must discuss the issue, not about personality.
All right, thank you. They are contributors and analysts. And nobody joined me to co-host anything yet. Thank you so much. Let me go to Mikey, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, good evening and welcome. What's your argument?
Good evening to everybody. I hope everybody's fine, and I want to use this time to send a happy pre-birthday to America and to all Americans. I want to say, as an American citizen, I'm grateful for the opportunity and everything. May God bless this great country. Coming to our case in Liberia, well, the election result shows that CDC is very good at tactics, you know, because why I said this for, because if CDC had gone on her own name, like, you know, this is a CDC candidate, the result would have been different, you know. But
do you want to hold them responsible for that?
You
want to hold them as a bad thing, responsible for that?
You know, I mean, that's a tactic they use. They said, you know, we're having some bad repetition right now in the country. You know, the last two by-elections for Monserrato across the country in Bon and Southeast, we came up very poorly, and we didn't have the result we wanted. So right now we have to be very careful whenever we're going through another by-election or any other election are coming up. And they saw the guy who has served the people in Lofa before, they jara individual. So they look at him to be somebody who have the numbers in terms of his record. He had gone through election there before coming, you know, at the second place, I think 2 or 3 different times. So they saw his record and said, "But we can throw our way behind the individual without going there as a party, because number one, Samuka just lost. Samuka just lost his seat through judicial process that most of the electorate are mad with the CDC. Some of them consider it as a witch hunt and stuff like that. So we can't go in our county right now as a CDC. We have to find somebody. So that's why I said they came up with good tactics, and I must, you know, applaud them for that. You know, So I want to give them that. And then the next thing I really want for me to talk, I got to stress on tonight, and for which Mr. Goya already talked about it earlier, and I just want to add to that. I noticed that ANC and some folks from the UP and other people from COP, it's like they are political leaders. They are so quiet, like Mr. Guia was saying. They don't talk nothing about it, and I don't think that's how we want to see our political debate go on. As you know, when we're coming from the background we came from, you know, where we don't debate on policy issues, we don't respect one another. The insult is too much. I follow this lady, who they call her Susan, I think Susan, whatever her last name is. I mean, all the guys that were calling on our show, the ladies, the men, the insult. They were causing Joseph Boakai, they were causing Henry Costa, they were causing Bernard Ure. They are tuned into to Henry Costa on the show too. People calling for that too. They causing comments. I mean, it was so bad. It sent a bad image for our country. So I don't know how the young people, quote unquote, young people, like Koya said, 40 years old person calling and said, you in Liberia there and stuff like that. How are they seeing the future of our country politically? I think it's wrong, you know. And then lastly, more importantly, on the National Election Commission, Mr. So, can you imagine? I sat down carefully listening to that lady. I expected her to say, you know what I mean, the result from Foya District, precinct this, number this. And you know, let's make the things to be clear. There should be no doubt in people's mind. They say, oh, you know, the election result is giving with that number, we don't have it. Look, at that one county, it's not like 5 or 7 county, one. Foya District, precinct 1. Photo, blah, 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 number this. You know, that's just be credible. That people see it clear as it is. But you can just kind of give a blanket statement. You say the result from Lofa County and how the question is so number. I think that's where the doubt coming from a lot of people, or that's what people having problem with. Make the thing transparent. And then we went on that website. Like some of us, we want to go find out what really going on. The whole website crashed. I think maybe a lot of people been going there or stuff like that. You can't understand nothing on the website. You can't see no information there. Like you say, this is the result that come in. You know, so my advice on NEC is that they have to sit on the table and strategize another way where, as people vote in Liberia, for example, if there's network in Foya there, how to get network, that is a cell phone and stuff like that there, the people that within that particular how to get precinct, there should be a means where they can have the information strictly to NEC. That is, you take the picture of the result. You share with everybody in there with email addresses and stuff like that, and then receivers, the party, whatever they are in the central war room, how they call it, war room, whatever. It should be fast. The moment the result come out, you take a picture because somebody saying, oh, you got a person not happy, you know. Yeah, what is it?
Upon one wrong, they're not war room. People, they ain't get nothing to it. You don't get figure. Yeah. You don't have figure. Nothing. Then why makes it a war room?
Yeah, because they confuse us too much with it. War. I don't know what kind of war room. You know, I mean, they can just change the nomenclature to at least, you know, our political room and stuff like that. But war room, I mean, like it's so like I don't know, traumatizing, man. We definitely war every day, war. You know, we should try to change some of these languages and stuff like that.
I'm part of that room.
Yeah. So and then you know, and then another thing, please. Let me just say on the journalists, you know. I don't know. Like, bro, we got serious problem, man. I mean, the political institution, they're having problem. The media too having problem. I think the media institution need to train the people, you know, to investigate the issue, not to just come up with blanket statement and they don't even know how to question politicians so that we can really get into the guy's mind. You know, so they really need to work on their craft, man. Seriously, this is so.
Yeah, don't let your blood pressure go on. I tell you, not go your way yet.
Yeah, because somehow now we have become independent now. You know, we decided to just forget about all the broad institutions, just watch the scene. You know, so we depend on the media to really give you know.
Guess what? Be that a liberal progressive, man. He not paying anybody more. Anybody he not paying my more.
Yeah. You see, like for example, you see, you receive a news just now. You can't, you couldn't just come on the air, you start putting some information in like you know it's authentic and stuff like that. But the moment somebody doesn't receive information, wherever they receive that information from, oh, this is credible, we can put our name on the board right now, this information is true 100%, and you see calling now.
They're crazy because they just
don't do.
Guess what? There's a reason for that. You know what they are doing? It's not what I call news. They try to incite entertainment into this whole thing. And so the entertainment aspect, which of course is news making, but yeah, the entertainment aspect now has taken over the news business here. All right, thank you so much, guys. We are about to wrap up.
Thank you so much, man. Mr. Goya, be a long time. Have a wonderful, delightful weekend, everybody.
My man, I see you in a long time. You owe me power, but we'll meet.
My man. Let's go here. We gotta let it go. Are you guys hearing me?
You're a little low. You're a little low.
Low. Yeah.
Let me see. Hold on one second. Are you hearing me now?
Yes.
Okay. So we gotta cut it now here. But hey, let's be like soothsayer and read in mind, because my concentration now is ambassador, and people might not get it. Why? And this is where the statementship by the man with the wisdom going to come in, because he should start calculating now. If things were to go here, I mean, the person here who called internet, they will say, well, we got to be on time. When we say we finish. Yeah, that's somebody think that how the system can be corrupt. You say finish, then you take one person, the other one call you into the person, and then you all Amos Judge will start telling me I'm contaminated here, and I don't want to hear myself to go there. So, what should be ambassador's boycott role? And I know somebody wrote here, so we want to be careful. Let me see here. I'm not trying to single you out here. Oh, you know what? Let me take the call from Liberia here. This one, there's an exception. These are the people that I beg you. Let me see here. Let me see. Hello, caller, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, Ty. Good morning. Where are you calling from?
Good morning. My name is Daniel Gidding Kakra, calling from Banga City, Bon County.
Wow. You see, this is why when we're having this conversation, we've got to be very, very careful. People, honest Liberians are all. Daniel, thank you so much for being away this type of morning hour here. Tell us here, what prompted you to call?
Thank you so much. My attention has been drawn to the National Election Commissioner. Mm-hmm. It would not be careful. This lady will put the country in the big mess, and it will be late. I was in Lofa when the election was taking place. She entered Lofa the next day to the election. She said she came to do a wedding in Vonyama City. She visited Vonyama, Foya, Zozo. She went back. In Monrovia, the next day the election took place. Look, let me tell you what happened. CDC got their cheating vote in Vahum. They were they got 9,000 votes. The amount of people that voted to that place, it didn't even reach 3,000. But they were able to get close to 9,000. And that's how they said they have won election. If you go through the tally thing, get up where Kodama won the election with over 1,000 plus margin. But where they got the artificial number from, nobody knows.
So let me ask you here, Daniel, thank you here for these informations. We have to validate the authenticity of this information. You say you were in Lofa. What was your mission specifically? I'm just a little bit curious. It seems to have information that we don't know. What was your mission there?
Okay, we work with a civil society movement from Bon County.
Okay.
And we went there to do our own observation.
To observe the process, you mean?
Yes. We want to observe the process because the election that took place in Vonyama, which is Lofa County, is very, very crucial. That was another big test for National Election Commissioner, because the way she will carry on this election that just took place, it will make people to believe that she's credible and she will be prepared to carry the election 2023. For what we're seeing, she will put the country in a big mess.
So I'm curious here. I'm curious here. I'm a guy who likes to poke into business here. What is the name of this organization, if you care to tell us?
We from Bonkane, we from the civil society, we call them Bonkane One Movement. We against corruption, we against bad governance system. If they send money in the country for the citizen and you tamper with it, we will come up, we will raise the issue. There's some money we're given to Bonkane that had to call the atom method. They ate the money, we raised that issue, and today by the grace of God, we're on course for that.
Are you being supported by any politician?
No. We just Bonkane. We got most of our supporters from the diaspora there. We got the Bonkane organization. Even by George on your station tonight, he knows about the group I'm talking about.
Oh, they trouble over here.
He knows me well.
Plenty places.
All right, I think you have a number here. This is our LPR hotline, and we have our man Tano, who is our local correspondent there. I would love to talk to this group and how long this group are being in place, how many electoral processes they have observed, and all of that. I don't know what are your statement here. They constitute the group own view or observation from the process, or you speaking as an individual here? Let's get it right. Are you speaking as a member of the group, or is that a view of the group the organization you're expressing?
I'm speaking as individual because I was in Vonema. I know what happened there.
Okay.
But I think we'll come up with a press statement few days from now.
Okay. So if you can text me the leader of this group, how many delegates represented this group here to observe the process? How many members?
We were 6 persons that left from Banga to go Lofa.
Are you? Can you make an arrangement so that we can have that if possible we can arrange something reasonable time, maybe daytime, to have this group here to talk to you people, what you see, what you observe there?
Certainly, I will do that. I will try to get in touch with the leader there and let him know.
Do you collect specific information? You noted down specific things that you observed while the process was going on? You think the group did that?
Yeah, they did a whole lot of work, and they were not satisfied with the process. Even when we were there, we took a visit to Foya, where the former vice president, where they call Wasanga, someone for that city or a bodyguard were arrested. Kuala intimidating people. We got that video, everything. We posted it, people saw it.
Okay.
And we saw a whole lot of things that went on to that place.
All right. Well, this is what we're talking about. Other civil society group, people should come, and that just speaks to what Sissy was saying. I have your number. I believe this is your number, and this number here too is an active number. So I will try to connect, and you can connect, and hopefully we can have these groups. Let's get another independent side, since they are non-partisan, and that's already the basis of which I was asking that question. But I want to thank you so much for being awake. Morning hour. To talk. Let me see. Your papa want to talk to you. The way you now calling. Yeah. Are you serious? What you want to show? Because you say we can't use. We say you can't speak better head. What you want to do now?
The man find a one better one he can remember that he used it today. May I hold you?
Okay. All right. Thank you so much.
I will talk to you guys.
Okay, Daniel, thank you so much. I will get in touch with you.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
All right. Okay. Like I said. Okay. George, we gotta go. Gentlemen, let's make our closing remark before we leave.
Yeah, definitely. Because whoa, man, we have you have a dedicated audience, Mr. So I must tell you, we've been on here for a little bit, and people are still being on. But win, lose or draw, I think the election in Lofa presents a moment that for reflection from the political parties that participated, reflection from all of the leaders, the politicians that went to Lofa. They have to, winners and losers all have to reflect. The National Election Commission has to look at this and see what could have been done differently, what they need to improve on going into 2023. They have to use Lofa as a test case on what part of the system needs to be really straightened and fixed if need be. But having said that, I told you the last time, this thing is not just, it's going to end at the Supreme Court, but I'm hoping that, you know, at the end of the day, when the Supreme Court rules, that whoever Supreme Court rules as the winner should be allowed to sit, and that everybody, all Lofians, should come back around to work with the choice of the people.
We come and go to Supreme Court again, man.
But they do go Supreme Court. Just watch you.
Emma Joyce.
Yes, let me get back to what Sister said. This is a wake-up call, not just to the Unity Party, but to all political parties in Liberia, especially the opposition bloc. Do not sit down and fold your hand. This is politics. They have to have people who are committed for the cost. And lastly, Brani Samoka, I don't think he will want to go down that route now, according to the tradition, as they always put it. Because I just look at it, if he now, will he push the old man out? And if he
man, old man again, you must sit down there. Wait a minute, will he put your old man out?
I've been respect your boy. Let me speak at your boy. That's a respect for me, your boy. You call me by George.
You see the ANC meeting, how they can be doing that thing?
You call me by George.
Very strategic. Okay. Gentlemen, I want to thank you so much for being here. Sissy, thank you so much. Joyce, thank you so much for being here. All right, folks, that's how we're going to bring the curtain to an end here this evening. Thank you so much.
My God can heal any sickness. Oh. My God can heal anybody. Yeah.
Mikey, you see how the program been so peaceful this few days in the absence of the liberal progressive? I don't want to say it. I don't want to get in problem with me. He gets stuff to do for us here, so we're going to be very, very careful here. Folks, we want to thank you so much. Your comments, your tweets, your participation. Unfortunately, Messenger, we just couldn't get it. I just took exception because these gentlemen were calling from inside Liberia. Until then, by God's willing, same time, same station, we're going to be back here for more conversation. Thank you so much.
My God can do
If you're your first time listening to us, go to our Facebook, and the official website is www.liberalpublicradio.com, where you can see news content, both local and international as well. And like our Facebook page, share it, send in your suggestions, your comments, your like and dislike. Where we're falling short, and definitely we can work on that. But we see Liberia as a greater portion in our conversations. I want to thank you so much for your time. Being a witness, gentlemen, Dan, you're calling in from Vanguard. This time of the hour is 10:34 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Imagine the time in Liberia as well. So it is important that these people we're having this conversation will keep it proportional, will keep it civil, and we will be able to tell people exactly what they need to know. Thank you so much, and have a pleasant evening.